Okay.
Hello classes, today is William's first birthday. Yay! So to celebrate, we have dressed up like our favorite movie, Frozen. So William here is Fed and we have Olaf and I'm dressed up today as Elsa. Alright, so we hope you guys are having a fun weekend and just one more week before spring break. So look forward to that. Say bye!
Bye.
Bye! Today we're going to be talking about the surface area of pyramids and cones. Let's start with the pyramids, okay? A regular pyramid is a pyramid that has a base that is a regular polygon. Remember, polygons are just any shapes that have straight lines on all of its sides. So in this first pyramid, this is a square pyramid. So their base here is a square. Notice how a square has four sides. Therefore, we will have four triangular, and these are called faces, that will fold up to converge and create our pyramid. So each of these are called faces. Face, face, face. And here is another face. But I want to highlight though on this face that each of these triangles has a height and it's going to be the same. Okay? And this is referred to as the slant height. The slant height of the pyramid. Okay? And usually it's with a cursive L. Okay? Because it's not necessarily the height of the pyramid, that would come from the center all the way to the top. The slant height comes from the base here all the way to the top at a right angle, okay? So we use the slant height and one of the sides of the square in order to find the area of each of the faces, okay? So for surface area, my surface area is going to be the base area plus my faces, okay? And the number of faces can change. In this first example, my base here is a square. So my base in a square is a type of rectangle, so you can use length times width, plus your faces. And in this case, I have four faces. So if I find the area of one of my faces, I can multiply it by 4 to get all of them. So it'll be 4 times, and these are all triangles. So the area of a triangle is going to be base times height divided by 2, okay? And notice here that we are using the base and the height here, the base of the triangle, and instead of height, maybe I will use this L because that's what you'll see in this textbook, and so they're using L to represent that slant height, okay? So the base times the slant height divided by 2. And if you add this up, then you will get your total surface area for this rectangular pyramid or a square pyramid, okay? Let's look at the other example. Notice here that this pyramid has a triangular base, okay? So here's the base. It is a triangle. And I also have 3 faces. And the reason that this only has 3 faces is because a triangle only has 3 sides. So you only need 3 face triangles to converge up and form your pyramid. So the surface area formula for this one is going to be a little bit different. It's still going to be the base, but notice here your base is now a triangle. So this is going to be your base times your height divided by 2, plus, and you only have 3 faces now. And remember that we're going to use L for the slant height. So this is base times the slant height divided by 2, okay? They may have different heights. The base triangle may be different than the face triangle, so you have to be aware of that. And then so on. You may have an example that uses a hexagon as its base, so you have to add the hexagonal area, plus a hexagon has 6 sides, so you would have 6 faces to add. Let's find the surface area of this figure. Notice here that the base is a pentagon. A pentagon has 5 sides. And notice today that we're talking about regular polygons. Regular polygons have sides where all the same sides are the equal length. So notice here I've labeled this side as 4 centimeters. That means that all 5 sides of that pentagon are going to be 4 centimeters. So remember our surface area. To find surface area, it's going to be equal to the base plus my faces. Okay. Now my base here is the pentagon, and it already gave me the base area. Notice here it says B is equal to 29 centimeters squared. That centimeters squared, anytime you see units squared, that's going to represent an area. So I already know that the base is 29. Plus, let's think, how many sides or how many faces does this figure have? Well, a pentagon has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. Therefore, I'll have 5 faces, so I will multiply by 5. all of my 5 triangle sides. And they're all going to be the same because we're talking about regular bases. So let's look here. I'm going to be multiplying the base, which the base of each side, let's look at this triangle. If this right side is 4 centimeters, that means that this side is also 4 centimeters. Okay, so your base would be 4 centimeters, and we don't need to put the units for our math part, multiplied by your lateral height, or the slant height, which here is going to be L, they've labeled as 15 centimeters. So that's going to be this distance here at a right angle. Okay, so I have 4 times 15, and then I will divide it by 2. Now we can start simplifying to solve. 29 plus 5 times 4 times 15 is 60, divided by 2. Complete your parentheses. 29 plus 5 times 60 divided by 2 is 30. 5 times 30 is 150. Add that to 29 for a total surface area of 179, and I believe the units are centimeters squared. Okay. In this next example, I want to find the surface area here, and I have here a rectangular pyramid or a square pyramid. And so notice here that I have this base of 12, and I don't know what the slant height is, so I have labeled it with an L. But I do know that the height of the pyramid from the center of the pyramid straight up is going to also be 12 yards. So before I can even start to find the surface area, I first need to figure out what that slant height is. To do it, we need to dig back in our memory banks and remember what we know about right triangles. Okay? So I want you to imagine if I were to slice this pyramid open here, and I have now created here and cut it in half, then now I've created a right triangle. Okay? A right triangle here where this distance from the center to one side, right? If the whole thing is 12, and I just want half of it only to the center, or divide it by 2 rather. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So I know that this side here is going to be 6 centimeters. I know that here that the height is 12 yards. Oh, this one is yards, not centimeters. And I don't know what this slant height is. But can you think of a way that we could figure it out? I'll give you a hint, this is for a right triangle. If you're thinking of the Pythagorean theorem, then you are correct. Remember that a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, okay? Where a and b are the legs of a right triangle. Remember the legs extend from the right angle. So one leg is going to be 12 squared, plus the other leg is 6 squared, is equal to my slant height that I don't know, L squared. Now I can solve for L. 12 squared is 144, plus 6 squared is 36, is equal to L squared. 144 plus 36 would be 180, is equal to L squared. Now I'm not concerned with L squared, I want to know just what is L. So to find L, I take the square root of both sides. Square root, okay? And you'll end up with that the lateral height is approximately 13 and 4/10. So you can round to the nearest tenth here. So now I'm going to come over to my picture and plug that in. L is 13 and 4/10. Okay? Now I have the information that I need in order to find the surface area of this pyramid. Remember, the surface area of the pyramid is equal to the base, which here I have a rectangular base, so this will be length times width. Okay? I know that this side is 12, and actually all the sides are 12. This is a square base. Okay? We're talking about regular, so all the sides of your bases will be the same today. So this is 12 times 12, which is 144, plus how many faces do we have? I have 4 of them, and I'm going to multiply my base of 12 times the slant height of 13.4 that we just discovered. So 12 times 13.4 divided by 2. Okay. I can start to simplify. 12 times 13 and 4/10, let's see, this should go 160 and 8/10 divided by 2 is going to be 80 and 4/10, which now you can multiply by 4 to get 321 and 6/10, which you can then add to 144. So now you can add these together to get a grand total of 465 and 6/10 yards squared. That is going to be the surface area of this square pyramid. Now let's talk about cones. I have one here. Okay. Notice here that the cone has a base that is a circle. So I've labeled that here, our circular base. And then all the sides from the base extend to be able to converge here at the top. So if I open the net here, we should have something like this. And notice that this top piece here is not it's not a triangle. It sort of looks like it's almost a semicircle, but it's not quite. So it's not a regular polygonal shape, but we can still find the surface area. So remember, to find the surface area, we start with the base, which we know is a circle. And we already know what the area of a circle is. The area of the circle is pi r squared. Then I can add to that this side right here, or this missing piece. And to find that area, it's going to be pi times r times L, which again is this slant height, okay? L is still the slant height. Let's find the area of this cone, okay? So we're gonna have our formula here, pi r squared plus pi r L. And now we need to figure out, well, what is my radius and what is my lateral height? So notice here that the radius is going to be the distance of halfway of my circle to the outer edge. So the radius here is 7 3/10 of a foot. And my lateral height is going to extend from the top down to the base circle, and that's 11 6/10 of a foot, okay? So now we can plug these values in. I have pi times r, which is 7.3 squared, plus pi times r, 7.3 again, multiplied by 11 6/10. Now I'm ready to multiply. The 7.3 squared is going to be 53.29, and of course these are pi's, plus 7 3/10 times 11 6/10 is going to be 84 68 pi's. Okay? Which now, if I have my big old pi party again, I can add them together. 53 29/100 plus 84 68/100 for a grand total of 137 97/100 times pi, which you can use 3.14 to represent pi, or the pi button on your calculator. I'm going to use 3.14, so I should get a total surface area of 433 points, and you can round to the nearest hundredth, 2, 3, and my units here are going to be feet squared. So that's all we have for today. Happy weekend. Remember, no school on Monday. Again, if you need anything, email, call, or text. Bye.